Phoenix has come a long way. He chose not to take the path that a lot of people do in desperation. He knew he would be challenged and persecuted just because of being a Roma, but he still wanted to do what is right and stand for his community. He still remembers what his dad used to tell him as a child.
I remember having this conversation with my dad, and I remember my dad sitting me down and saying, look, people just are not going to like you. You're going to grow up and there's going to be people that are just like, you're a gypsy, I don't want anything to do with you, you're a thief, you're this, you're that. There's nothing you can do about it. There's not, and you just have to accept that. And there kind of was that feeling of why? Like, what have I done? Even when you are a straight A student, and I was getting early offers for college, and you know, I was involved in loads of clubs, and I had like a good social circle, and I'm thinking, even with that, I'm still being told you can't have a job here. I'm still being told, well, you know, I'm still being questioned on my identity. Oh, well, I knew a gypsy and he stole this off this person, and do you know him? And what's that got to do with me? It's like you're having to answer for everybody else. And then there was another time, I must have been in year 5 in primary school, so again, like maybe 9 or 10 years old, in a PE class, and a girl was arguing with me. Don't remember what we were arguing about, but she turned around and said, oh, well, I know that you eat fucking cat food because you're a gypsy. And I'd said something to her about her mum, and she started screaming and shouting and punching and kicking me. Both got dragged into the staff room, had to explain what happened because we got into this disagreement, and I said, well, she turned around and called me a gypsy. And the teacher at the school turned around and said to me, well, however your family choose to live is nothing to do with us. You can't just say things about people, you know, because you're not happy with them. And I said, well, she said something about me. And they said, right, stop being stupid. If your family want to go and live like that and be like that, that's their lifestyle choice, right? And we're not going to judge anyone for being gypsies. And I was sort of sat there like in disbelief thinking, if you call my parents and said some girls just said you guys eat dog food and you're gypsies and whatever, my parents would go ballistic. They wouldn't stand for that at all. And you're here telling me, well, that's their choice, and you know, people are going to judge you for that, so just get over it, kind of thing, by a teacher. And like it's like it's the last accepted thing. It's like, yeah, but for gypsies it's okay, you can just you can because they're gypsies, and so they're asking for it, or well, you know what they're like. It's kind of this accepted thing that nobody questions, nobody sort of nobody has an issue with it unless it's the other side. And if someone was called the M word in school, if it was a situation with a Muslim student being called the P word or anything, it would be a complete different situation. That would never stand. And this is why I kind of disagree with people who think that we should normalise using the word gypsy. I think it's Jonathan Lee from the European Roma Rights Centre on Romani Tea Room was sort of saying, well, gypsy doesn't have the same history as the word Tsigan, but it does. People forget, like 1530 in the UK, the Egyptians Act was put into place that made it illegal to be Roma. Roma were given, I think it was 16 days to leave the country or give up their lifestyles, if not death. And so that put a lot of extra secrecy on people in the UK, and that's why so many Roma people in the UK are reluctant to talk, because you've got this extra 500 years where people have been told, do you know what I mean? If you do come out and you do exist and you do dress this way and you do practice your own culture, you could be kicked out of the country or killed. And so the word Egyptian Act came from the fact that they thought we were from Egypt. So the word gypsy does have history to it. It was used in a law against us. So to say, yeah, but it's not the same as Tsigan because, you know, it didn't happen with slavery. Well, it did, because when the transatlantic slave trade happened, it was put into law that Egyptians, or people calling themselves Egyptians, which is that's what we were called in law at the time, should be given the same class as Negroes and should also be allowed to be sold as property. And so we were sold off in the transatlantic slave trade as well. And again, that kind of gets washed over. So the word gypsy does have a similar history to the word Tsigan. It was used in legislation to prosecute us. It was used to sell us into slavery, just as the word Tsigan was. And so I kind of take umbrage with this idea that we should give people permission to call us gypsy, and that we should just accept it, and we should just sort of have it in the lexicon that it's a normal thing to do. Yeah, and I've had disagreements with people about that.